Hello again, STRUCKTLF. 11th hour games revealing the Falconer mastery for the Rogue class brings Last Epoch's 1.0 release on February 21st closer and closer. Having information about all 15 class masteries means now the cards have been dealt and we have to decide what we do with them. Will you main a Falconer or the other recently revealed new mastery, the Warwalk? Or will you stick to a mastery you already know like many will do? In this video, we'll take a look at the exclusive review on maxroll.gg and discuss the class's pet master nature, its skills, and its passive tree. I'm obliged to disclose that this is a sponsored video. It is not a supported one, so I didn't receive a free copy of the game, but hopefully it clarifies what a sponsored video is. And hopefully this is enough of a disclaimer. Now buckle up, STRUCKTLF, and let's dive into all the juicy bits of information that 11th hour games and maxroll have shared with everyone. So first off is a class overview. I'm only allowed to use content from maxroll.gg because there's an exclusivity there. So I can only show you what has been reviewed on maxroll. So first of all, there is a description of the Falconer. This image, you should see it in your screen now as a zoomed in image. Describes the Falconer as never fight fair, never fight alone, a master tactician who relies on devious traps and her fearsome falcon to eviscerate her enemies. Luring prey into her ambush, she survives through quick wits, unscrupulous tactics, and the unwavering bond with her avian ally. What we would do later, we would later dive into each of the active skills and into the passive tree. But first of all, there's Falconry and Falcon Strikes. You summon a fierce and invulnerable Falcon. Mind you, invulnerable, keyword here, which fights at your side and hits your commands. On your orders, your Falcon darts around the battlefield, attacking nearby enemies in a blur of savage strikes, which means there will be a button that you can press to tell the Falcon to attack, which is how pets should be in games. Not like Diablo 4, where they just randomly attack whoever they want. Well, there are some active skills you can use to make the pets in Diablo 4 attack, but Last Epoch is definitely doing what they do best, handling pets in a similar manner to Grim Dawn. Now, Aerial Assault is another thing. As you leap forward, your Falcon dives to catch you, carrying you further after dropping you off. Your Falcon unleashes a storm of feathers, slicing and dicing enemies around you. Then there's Dive Bomb. Your Falcon shoots high into the air, then comes plummeting back down, smashing enemies in a large area. And there is Net. Obviously, you want some CC on a Falconer style class. You flip backwards, throwing a net to slow or immobilize your foes. Once netted enemies are easy prey for your avian ally. We'll go into more details what they mean by this. And then there is a trap. We can't not have a trap. Explosive trap in this case. Place a trap on the ground when triggered. Devastates the area with explosive fire. The longer your trap is deployed, the more powerful the explosion. I can see some fun to be had with this skill with that description. So this is about the overview. Obviously, it has a pet. It's kind of like a pet master, but the pet is invulnerable and it has abilities that use the Falcon, but also abilities that kind of CC or damage and traps and stuff. The first active thing we want to talk about is Falconry. So as you know, as we just said earlier, summon your trusted Falcon and unleash its devastating attacks. This mastery skill acts as your main damage, or you can use it to supplement your other abilities, is what they say on maxroll. What we can see here is the skill tree of Falconry. So as you can see, there's a lot of good stuff about it. A lot of good stuff. For example, there is Falconer's Mark. I'm gonna try to be short with this and not make this video overly long, but I'll dedicate a few minutes, 1-2 minutes to each of the skill trees, and I'll just hover over the things. Whenever the Falcon hits an enemy with a Falcon Strike, it marks them. Your next hit against the mark target deals more damage and consumes the mark. Then the Falcon chance to inflict Falconer's Mark is increased. Then there's character damage that goes to Falcon damage here, as you can see, 30%, 10 buff stacks. Very good, this one, very nice. Then we have Toxic Airdrop, Acid Flask cooldown 6 seconds, and Acid Flask mana consumption 75% for this skill when it's leveled up. Then Flask Satchel, additional Acid Flask charges +4 when you have 4 levels of it, which is amazing. And then Parrotkin, chance to grant Falcon Acid Flask charges 125%. So obviously, very good stuff here. Then on this side, we have Wake of Wings, which when you consume Falconer's Mark, you gain the Falcon's Wake buff for a short duration, which gives you at level 5 movement speed buff 15%, and it also gives you attack and casting speed 15%. Very, very nice. Falcon's Gale. Consuming a Falconer's Mark instantly recovers Falcon Strike's cooldown, but it now also costs additional mana, which is 35 extra mana. Pretty solid though, I love this one. Then Avian Stamina, additional Falcon Strike hits +4. 100 Pulse gives you, when your Falcon kills an enemy or hits a boss or rare enemy, it restores health and mana to you based on your total attribute. So you get 2 HP per total 1 attribute and 40 mana mana gain per total. Health gain per 2 total attributes 1, mana per 40 total attributes 1. Pretty balanced here, I guess. Then Falcon Strike's Q threshold here with Birds of Prey. We have additional Falcon Strike hits on kill and chance for additional hits on boss or rares here with this one. Again, I don't have too much time. I want to make this video reasonable, so I can't talk in details about everything. But we have Razor Wings here, which Falcon Strikes becomes a line attack. Then we have Wingspan here. So the Falcon Strikes deal more damage, multiplicative with other modifiers, if you have directly used an area skill in the past 8 seconds. Pretty solid. Over there we have Falconer's Journey, which gives Falcon damage per level and Falcon damage per dex, which is amazing. You want to stack a lot of dex on this class from what we've seen so far. Is it a bird? Well, it obviously is. Falcon damage plus 12% does not scale with points allocated, by the way, and damage bonus doubled for Falcon Strikes. Pretty solid. Then Watchful Eye, Falcon prioritizes targets close to you. And Falcon prioritizes close to recent targets, even more interesting mechanic here. Now, Agile Prey, Falcon damage to moving targets 20% when maxed out. Dark Plumage, 20% Black Arrow chance on Falcon hit. We have Rending Talons, element chances becomes Falcon hits 200%, so a portion of your chance to bleed, poison, shred, armor, shred resistance, and slow on hit now also applies to your Falcon's hits. Feather Knives, which again, the Falcon now uses Feather Knives at nearby enemies, but it has 10 seconds cooldown. And then for the Feather Knives, there is this one. The throwing attack speed gets increased cooldown recovery speed 225% when maxed out. Over here we have Side by Side, remaining cooldown reduction after skill use minus 15%. Then we have highest increased damage, Falcon damage 75%. Again, I can't read all of it, I want to do this quick. So here we have Falcon Screech. We have Rightful Feathers, another good thing, Go for the Eyes, and Exposed Weakness. Next we'll talk about Explosive Traps. Throw traps that explode when triggered. This skill can be specialized to trigger many other abilities. So when detonated, the trap grants buffs to you and your Falcon. It can even be converted into a bow attack. Again, I want to do this even quicker than the previous skill tree. So first of all, this is the skill. And then we have stuff like Ash Compartment, extra damage, fire resistance, shred, and then the trap attaches on hit, attach trap arming time, then explodes on enemy death and attach cooldown, and then we have attach damage, attach traps passed on hit, trap damage per pass. Over here we have this one, detonating arrows on trap, so this makes it fire detonating arrows very, very fun. And then detonating arrows fired this way deal additional bow damage per 3 dex, so another mechanic where you want to stack dex to get bonuses for another skill. Static Mines, yeah, it's pretty nice. Swaps explosive traps, fire attack for a lightning attack, and now you have static lightning mines and lightning resistance shred chance. Then there's shock chance and spark charge chance for that. Then over here we can go for trigger area and detonation area increase, and then over here we have instant detonation on fast enemies, hit damage to moving enemies. Over here we have cold snap mines. Now we convert the fire to cold, and there's cold resistance shred now added. And over here we have default and converted trap thrown. There's damage minus and less area minus. But when directly using explosive trap, an unconverted explosive trap and the trap corresponding to each conversion node, you have taken are thrown at the same time, which is pretty nice. Now we have for the converted frozen some upgrades, chill stacks, freeze rate, and then there's always freeze on hit, cooldown, and then remaining cooldown recovered on freeze. Over here we have Prepare Demolition, damage bonus per second, area bonus per second, max bonus duration. Again, you can watch the max roll videos as well that go into detail for each skill. But for now, I'm just gonna quickly go through this gadget tier here. Then we have Smoke Traps, which is fun. It grants you a stack of Disc Shroud, and then deals additional throwing damage per stack of Disc Shroud you have. Minefield, maximum traps plus fucking 4. mind you. Then trap drop chance, trap drop distance. So whenever it detonates, it has a chance to drop a fresh explosive trap. This could be crazy, crazy skill. Trap sprinkler. This is even more fun. And now this one here, instrument of alchemist. Traps thrown throw acid flasks, which is pretty solid. And then siege engineering, summoning a ballista chance. Now that's pretty fun together with the sprinkler and automated bombardment. I wonder if each trap from the sprinkler will also summon a ballista. I think that's how it will be. Then trap drop chance and mana cost increase. Over here we have clustered explosives and no man's land. Pretty fun things to take, especially no man's land. Over here we have blast rain, another thing that I can see many people going for. See, throwing becomes bow damage and throwing becomes bow attack speed. And this obviously requires a bow, and then impact trigger. Here, subtle sabotage. So sabotage. Mana cost is decreased, but the damage in the area is also mana cost. Yeah, and area and damage decreased. Then gel course, blueprint, mana efficiency increased. If you combine that with that one, it's a good synergy. Throwing attack speed as well. And this throwing attack speed will become bow attack speed with this, so definitely you might want to combine those two. Sky signal, Falcon damage buff, and buff duration for 3 seconds, and then Falcon skills cooldown recovered whenever one of your explosive traps detonates your Falcon skills. So for this one, snare enemies with your net, make them suffer from various elements and drop caltrops on the ground. You can also convert this skill into a trap that releases nets. Again, I'm gonna try to be even faster now. This is a rending wire, so bleeding synergy here, and AoE increase here, cannot be dodged here, Falcon damage to netted enemies, frailty stacks 3, then physical damage from netted enemies reduction, very good for survivability, then slow stacks when free, and then enemies cannot dodge, enemies cannot avoid crits. Amazing. The fact that they cannot dodge or avoid crits makes this a must-have, in my opinion. It's going to be very good for party play. Then, using the net grants you the Huntress advantage, buff for a short duration granting you more global damage multiplied with other modifiers against slow to immobilized enemies. Then here, while you have that Huntress advantage, you now also have global increased throwing attack speed, which again can synergize very well with the throwing attack speed and converting it to bow attack speed on the explosive trap. Barb net deals physical damage over time, bleeding stacks per second, so further the bleeding synergy. Then net deals more damage multiplied with other modifiers and bleeds that it inflicts lasts longer, 50% more damage and 50% extra bleeding duration. Then we have acid snare, net's base physical damage is converted to poison. Consequently, this damage scales with increases to poison damage, but not increases to physical damage. So there is that. Then voltaic device, physical converted to lightning, bleeding lightning shred resistance, and damage per global shock chance. So instead of bleeding, you go for the lightning here, which is pretty nice. It swaps the physical for the lightning attack as well. Damage per 100 dodge rating. So now you can stack dodge rating and get this to be stronger. Unlike some of the other skills that you were stacking decks to get them stronger. You no longer flip back when using net. Lovely. I had flip backs on skills because they fuck up with my aim. Net now throws a trap that releases a net at a nearby enemy when it triggers. Max net trap 6. Trap uses puncture now. And puncture mana consumption 115%. So interesting. What we have here is a server of tricks. Additional traps thrown +2. Now what we have here is strongly woven, net snares enemies for a longer duration. Then we have this one, chill stacks on bosses and rares, stun duration, mana gain, and cooldown 10 seconds for this effect that adds the chill. So Engineer Smart's net has a shorter cooldown, 60%, which good synergy for this one. And then reduced cooldown duration, 35%. Which is nice. So we have the recovery speed increase, but then we have the duration decrease. And then the jump distance per deck. So this, again, another way where you get stronger by stacking decks. And it counts as a traversal skill, by the way. Here, Agile Hunter jump distance. Here we have Into the Shadows. When directly using net, you throw a smoke bomb after jumping. And then we have Assault on the Huntress. You now jump forward when using net instead of backwards, and it is thrown behind you. Now, Zone of Control. Caltrops from all sources deal damage. Which is this one makes it caltrops, and now from all sources deal damage in a larger area. And now improves caltrops base crit strike chance from all sources per 10% global slow chance, which is 1% per 10% global slow chance. And then the Tinkerer's combo caltrops at target location, pretty fun. The next skill we would look into is the area of assault. Your Falcon carries you forward, and after dropping you off, it unleashes a storm of feathers. This unique traversal skill offers multiple possibilities for direct damage and buffs. This is the base skill. I'm gonna try to talk even less now and just show you the images. Twilight Strike, something very good. Plum Daggers, Shadow Damage on Umbral Blade hits pretty solid. If you go further down here, Feather Storm, after the initial wing burst, your Falcon continues releasing Feather Storm, pretty solid. Domain of the Huntress, another thing people would love when doing that. And then Shaded Wingspan, Shadow Feather Storm. And I can just imagine how good this would look like. So Storm on the horizon, area of assault no longer moves you. Additionally, it deals more damage multiplicative with other modifiers, and it no longer has a minimum range. Super good there. We have that Razor Blade Plume, and then we have this one, Darkwing Foam, Black Feather chance per second, 102, I'm assuming %, that's a typo probably. And then here we have Feather Storm's base physical damage over time is converted to poison. So it also has poison chance instead of Feather Storm poison chance. It's interesting conversion there. Now what we have here, Umbral Remnants. When the wing burst kills an enemy and you have 3 or fewer active shadows, it creates a shadow at the enemy's location. Ambush, direct damage to high health. Damage bonus always applies to bosses and rares. Feather burst area increase, frailty stacks on feather burst, travel speed increase. Then after landing all your active ballistas, so this is good if you're using that ballista modifier of the other skill. And yeah, ballistas prioritization, pretty solid, extra damage per int. So this is if you're stacking int for that build, and increased attack speed. Here we have the Skyward Swoop, which goes into Treacherous Pursuit, so it also drops Caltrops, so another skill with Caltrops. And then again, Vengeful Nails further for the Caltrops, but Caltrops from all sources, so you can combine that with the Caltrops from net. Definitely good synergy there. Then Spike Field, additional Caltrops again, and additional Calfade through, by the way, this one. And then Caltrops Bleed chance here, Falcon Bleed chance per 4 decks with buff, which is solid. And then Falcon Bleed chance buff duration in 2 to 5 seconds here. Now we have Refreshing Resolve, Missing Mana recovered here, and we have Coordinated Assault, which is pretty solid when you use Falconry and Dive Bomb together with Aerial Assault. Missing health recovered, very good for survivability. And then health becomes ward gain. That's if you're going for a ward build. Now Aerial Prowess, very good max Aerial Prowess stacks, 30 solid stack here. Health gain per stack and damage per stack. I can see not using this. This is so good. Then Falcon's Havoc, case duration, frenzy duration, very solid. Torrent of Talons, chance for buff on non-crit, chance for buff on kill. And then dodge rating while traveling, Aerial Prowess stacks on dodge, and then over here Aerial Prowess applies to other abilities. So directly using Ballistic Explosive Trap for Dive Bomb now consumes your stacks. The last skill I want to talk about is Dive Bomb. Command your Falcon to ascend into the sky and then crash down on enemies with massive force. Over here we see this, and then let's go this way first. So slow stacks and area increase. Critical vulnerability stacks. Then we have Talon Blades duration, increased crit chance and critical multiplier for this if you have Dive Bomb and Feather Fall synergy here. Then we have that Feather Fall. Before your Falcon dives, it now uses Feather Fall that causes Razor Sharp feathers to strike a number of times. So 8 feathers thrown when maxed out. And then Armor Shred stacks 5. Here we have movement speed with 5 stacks, 10%. And then we have Explosive Dive, which if Dive Bomb hits your explosive traps, and they instantly explode, dealing more damage, which is pretty fun. 15% explosive trap damage, 50% explosive trap area. Talon Blade stacks 1, and yeah, they detonate automatically. Here we have remaining cooldown recovered. So you reduce a portion of Dive Bomb's remaining cooldown, 18% with 3 stacks. When you use throwing or bow attack and hit at least one enemy. Increased cooldown recovery speed for Dive Bomb. And then we have Dive Bomb deals more damage multiplicative, 16%, and minus 16 mana cost as well. Then Smoke Bomb duration, your Falcon, if your Falcon lands inside the area of your Smoke Bomb, the smoke area lasts longer. If we move here, Flash Tearing Talons, Physical Resistance Shred, up to 5 stacks, then this one, Crimson Shroud per enemy hit, up to a maximum, which is 3 shrouds. And then here we have this one, hit damage per bleed, max damage bonus, instant bleed damage. Over here, what we have is Dive Bomb deals more damage, multiplicative, and for short, there's a shorter delay before the Falcon dives, 16% extra damage, and the delay, reduced delay 72% with 4 stacks. Leap with spear, count as traversal skill with the Valkyrie. Dive bomb gains that traversal attack. Then we have devastating dive. Again, more multiplicative damage, stun duration and cooldown duration increase 72 with 4 stacks for all 3 things. Day spray, dive bomb deals more damage and stuns enemies. It hits for 2 seconds, but it has additional cooldown of 8 seconds. But the stun duration is 2 seconds and there's 80% extra damage. Good trade-off there. Then remaining cooldown recovered on stun. So that effect can only occur up to twice per second. Here we have this one, Rapid Pursuit, very good. Incendiary Collision, Bird Missile, very good, and that's very, very nice synergy with the decoys. Over here we have on Wings of Shadow, so it gives you up to 5 Shadow Falcons, but they have minus 25% decreased damage. Over here we have a stack of Dusk Shroud for each Shadow Falcon that hit at least one enemy. For up to 3 stacks when maxed out. Then we have a Shadow Falcon takes your Falcon's place. That uses Dive Bomb. Your Falcon is able to attack and use other abilities during this. And then this is Shadow Falcon for primary attack. This one, Shadow Falcon dives again. This one, Shadow Falcon damage per Umbro Blade plus 5%. Here, Bleed stacks 5. Stats from weapon, effectiveness 150%, which is massive. And then element damage per 10% increased stun chance, very, very good. At the end of the video, I want to go through the Falconer passive tree. So if we look at this thing here, Raptor's Wings, chance to gain haste, more damage with haste. Again, I don't have much time to talk about all of it, but there's good stuff. Got dodge rating and HP here for survivability, which further increases the dodge rating and increases the mana regain here. And mana gain on dodge 5 is massive there. Then dodge rating another 30%, maximum health gain as endurance threshold 15. Then we have this one, your Falcon deals additional throwing damage per point of dex, and this also gives you up to 8 points of dex. Falcon throwing damage per 4 dex is 1. Then here we have increased minion damage 56% with the maximum 8 points. And the 5-point bonus is your Falcon and Ballistas have additional base crit chance. Does not scale with points allocated, by the way. Falcon and Ballista crit chance plus 5%. Then over here we have Tactician, melee damage for Falcon, throwing damage for Falcon, and bow damage for Ballista. Here we have increased damage with bow, which is good if you're doing that conversion of throwing to bow. Then chance to buff Falcon 20% and Falcon melee damage buff plus 1%. This additional melee damage is for 4 seconds, by the way. Over here we have Fencing Grace, block chance with a one-handed weapon 5% block, effectiveness per dex plus 2. So you have additional block chance and while wielding a one-handed, and you have additional block effectiveness per point of dex. Increased throwing attack damage, increased throwing attack speed. Very good if you convert it to bow damage and bow attack speed with that skill. We talked about earlier. Expert Duelist, increased melee damage with two-handed weapons. Increased melee attack speed with two-handed sword, 10% fire penetration per int with staff plus 2%, and melee damage per 10 dex with spear plus 1. Over here we have Sharpest Point, increased damage with spear 48%, bleed chance with spear 80%, and at the 5 point you have the bonus, you have increased attack speed with flurry while wielding a spear, you have increased range with puncture while wielding a spear, which is 30% increased flurry attack speed with spear and 60% increased range with spear with puncture. Here we have increased area for area skills and a 3-point bonus with mana gain on decoy detonation, mana gain on trap detonation. Here we have HP increase, ability left to right 5. So yeah, 3 stacks of Silver Shroud. This effect has a 10-second cooldown. Silver Shroud on ability use. Here we have block chance plus 5, glancing blow chance plus 5, and percent that is, and health on block or glancing blow 15. And at 5-point bonus you get all of your block chance is converted to glancing blow chance, which is pretty solid. Over here we have evasion tactics, which is 6 dex, 12 increased armor percent, and 12 increased dodge rating percent. Here we have increased damage, increased minion damage, and at 3-point bonus you get a portion of your Falcon's damage is leached as HP for you per point of dex. So for every point of dex you get 0.1% Falcon damage leeching HP for you. So Falcon health leech to you per dex 0.1%. As it's worded. Stymphalian Feathers, you have additional armor per point of dex, which is for every 2 dex you get 6 armor. At 4-point bonus you get you have increased armor for each time your Falcon has hit an enemy recently, which is 2%. And then we have here Tailwind, damage taken while moving -6%, increased movement speed 6%, increased dodge rating 6%, and double effects with recent Falcon hit, which is pretty solid. Here we have Needle-like Precision, increased crit chance 36%, fucking 36%, man. Increased Minion crit chance 36%, crit multiplier 36%, and Minion critical multiplier 36%. Over here, dodge rating 60, whopping 60 dodge rating. You have additional dodge rating, and you now have a chance to drop caltrops around you when you dodge and there is an enemy within 4 meters of you, which is 30% chance for that thing. Strike their flank, increase damage 36%, increase sword duration 60%. So you get more damage per sword, 2% here with the 3-point bonus. And here, Poise, glancing bow chance, whopping 10%. And at 5-point bonus, your chance to receive a glancing bow is doubled if you have not been hit recently, which is amazing when fighting bosses with big, massive one-shot attacks and stuff. Double glancing bow chance if not hit, as I said. Here, finesse them. You regain HP when you or your minions crit an enemy. You have additional critical strikes avoidance. So health gain on crit when maxed out 21. So 3 per point, and crit avoidance 35% when maxed out. And at 5 points you get a bonus. Your minions gain additional crit strike multiplier per 2% of your uncapped crit strike avoidance. And then minion crit strike multiplier plus 1%. Very solid. And then there is the mastery bonus, which is 12 dex and plus 1 Falcon melee damage per 4 points of dex. Very, very good passive tree for this class.
To get notified when I upload more content like this one or other builds and guides for Wooter and not so Wooter games, you can subscribe to my channel and hit that bell button to not miss out on notifications. As well as keep in mind there's something called memberships on YouTube, which lets you be a paying member for my channel to get access to perks such as emotes and badges made by me, as well as the option to get one-on-one tutoring for the very basics of Adobe Photoshop, Premiere and After Effects. And memberships can be cancelled at any time if you no longer want to be a member. Thanks for watching all the way until the end, STRUCKTLF. Keep it cool until next time, and goodbye.